Have you ever heard that sometimes on the palm there will appear extremely rare signs, and just by looking at them, one can know a great deal about a person's destiny? Among those special signs, the Prajna boat has always been considered a precious symbol, carrying meanings of wisdom, protection, blessings, and the journey of overcoming the storms of life. What truly surprised me, however, is that in the palm we are going to analyze today, two Prajna boats appear at the same time, an extremely rare phenomenon. This is not only a sign of great luck and blessings, but also shows that the owner of this palm has a very special life journey. Having gone through many upheavals, losses, ups and downs in love, career, and even health, yet in the end, turning toward the path of enlightenment, spiritual cultivation, and discovering the true meaning of life. In this video, I will carefully analyze all the palm lines related to this rare sign, from career, finances, love life to later years, so that you can see the entire picture of life hidden right within the palm. If you want to fully explore these profound secrets that few people know, make sure to watch this video until the end. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to join me in continuing to uncover the special palmistry signs that can illuminate and guide your own life. Today I am very happy to analyze the palm for this lady. She was born in 1976 and is 49 years old this year. Looking at both palms overall, they are quite special. The palm lines are very clear, and at the same time, many spiritual signs as well as signs of good fortune appear on her hands. First, observing the skin tone of her hands, it appears rosy, which at the age of 49 is quite good. In addition, her thumb is very straight, with a full rounded tip and a long lower phalanx. This is a typical feature of people who are neat, perfectionistic, organized, and tidy. Because of this, in family life or daily living, she tends to be meticulous, always preferring neatness and cleanliness. People with this trait, if working in fields related to caring for or supporting others, are usually very well suited and perform with great thoroughness. The next special feature is that she possesses two lifelines, including one main line and one auxiliary line running parallel. This is a rare sign that very few people have. Normally, just having a clear and long lifeline is already considered precious, but she has two, and from the lower part, there are also virtue lines rising upward. This shows that her palm belongs to a very fortunate type, where throughout her life, she often encounters many good opportunities and blessings. In addition, her palm strongly reflects the law of cause and effect. As long as she puts in her effort and hard work, she will reap corresponding success. On her palm, the headline appears very long and even shows branching tendencies. This feature indicates that she is a multi-talented person, capable of doing many different things. Combined with a prominent mount of Venus, this palm reflects the qualities of a woman who takes care of many aspects of life. Especially on the mount of Jupiter of both her hands, a star sign appears. This is a very rare mark. Not everyone has it. A star on the mount of Jupiter not only signifies good fortune, but also contains a spiritual meaning. In addition, her palm also bears another special sign, the image of the Prajna boat. One Prajna boat appears on the palm, and above it, another Prajna boat is formed. This is an extraordinary sign, showing that the owner has a strong spiritual foundation and affinity for cultivation. This does not necessarily mean she has to become a teacher or work in the spiritual field, but simply that such people, when given time for contemplation, naturally achieve strong inner enlightenment, a kind heart, and a very good character. Therefore, when conditions allow, they often think about helping others and contributing to life, rather than living only for themselves. Not only that, but on her thumb, there is also the phoenix eye pattern. This is a sign representing intelligence, sharp perception, and profound wisdom. Beneath the image of the Prajna boat, there even appears the triangle of blessings, further confirming that this is a very rare palm. It shows that she is a person with spiritual ability, both fortunate and kind-hearted. If she had the chance to be trained or exposed to spiritual matters early on, it is very possible that she would have the destiny of becoming a teacher, someone who conveys values, helps, and supports others. On her palm, apart from the star sign on the mount of Jupiter, the heart line also has a special shape. It splits into two branches, forming a fishtail pattern. This formation carries a very high spiritual meaning. This palm reveals many signs of someone destined for great wealth and great nobility. Features such as the triangle of blessings and the Prajna boat show that in her later years, if she cultivates herself and keeps a virtuous heart, she will gain many blessings, abundant wealth, well-developed children, a prosperous life, and much good fortune. However, reaching that state is not easy. People with this sign are often those who have gone through many lifetimes of cultivation and in this life as well. The Prajna boat on her palm indicates that she cannot avoid the destiny of cultivation, meaning she has to endure burdens or pressures in life, especially during her youth. It is precisely from those hardships that she can rise again, awaken, and learn precious lessons, thereby helping others as well as herself. Therefore, her youth is unlikely to have complete success or fulfillment. Only after middle age, around the age of 50 and beyond, will her life gradually stabilize and move into a more favorable path. On her palm, although the lifeline runs as two parallel lines, many cutting lines also appear. This shows that she has gone through quite a few events related to health. In addition, there is a long line crossing over, forming an X shape, cutting across the lifeline, headline, and heart line. This is a sign that after the age of 30, she is prone to encountering upheavals in family matters, and her love life also faces unfavorable phases. Furthermore, her heart line runs long, but there are small parallel lines and many downward branches. This reflects that she experiences much pressure in love and relationships. In her youth, around her 20s, her love life was quite good, with many people showing interest in her. However, her relationships often fell into long-distance love, separation between husband and wife, or a feeling of loneliness, isolation, and lack of affection. Although that youthful stage has passed, the small, downward branches still show that she continues to endure much emotional pressure throughout her life. However, her palm also shows signs of good wealth accumulation. People who possess such a palm are often very skilled at making money, with many creative ways to generate income, and as a result, they also have strong savings ability. Moreover, her fingers are tightly joined, showing that she values money and material possessions. Even so, deep inside, she always longs for freedom. She is not an overly extroverted person, yet she desires freedom and does not like to be restricted or forced. In addition, the palm also reveals that she has a strong capacity for spiritual practice and enlightenment. In her free time, she often enjoys reading, exploring, researching, and engaging in work that leans toward independence rather than cooperation with others. Basically, she has a natural spiritual foundation, and no matter how big the difficulties in life may be, she is able to overcome them. It is precisely after these trials and life lessons that she will feel her life becomes far more meaningful. On her palm, all the fingers are straight, which indicates a fairly good family life. However, her little finger is slightly short, which reflects a person who tends to be reserved. Often, she presents herself outwardly as someone who likes to listen, heal, educate, and share values with others, always wanting to help people. But in reality, deep within, she often falls into a state of loneliness, finding it difficult to share her emotions with anyone. For this reason, the biggest challenge she needs to overcome is learning how to express her feelings and emotions openly. At this age, she has already overcome most of the major hardships in her life. However, this year, at 49, is a year that requires special attention. According to folk belief, there is a saying, 49 to 53, which marks a period of many upheavals. On her palm, exactly at the position corresponding to the ages of 49 to 50, there appears a fairly large triangle, connected with the money line and a downward line. This is a sign that there may be losses, especially related to finances, while also warning about health issues since it lies directly on the lifeline. Her palm shows that she is prone to illnesses related to blood pressure and joints, as indicated by many fine lines. At this age, sickness is hard to avoid, but if she knows how to balance life and take care of herself, things will be much lighter. In particular, she has a double lifeline, a parallel line supporting the main one. This is a rare sign, showing that her life is as if she has lived twice. One possibility is that she once experienced a near-death situation in her youth, causing her life to take a different turn. Or it could also mean that throughout her life, she carries two ways of living within herself, as if two personalities are constantly in conflict inside. Because of this, her youth may have been difficult in terms of truly understanding herself, and it took her a long time to discover who she really is. Once she becomes enlightened and understands her true self, that is the greatest success in her life. For people with this sign, the path of awakening is inevitable, and it is also the mission they must go through in their lifetime. Her palm indicates quite a long lifespan, at least beyond 85 years. This is shown through the clear wrist bracelets. However, these wrist lines are not completely continuous, but appear broken and fragmented. This is a sign that in her youth she lacked determination. Even though she had many opportunities for self-development, she often gave up halfway, easily lost interest, or due to life circumstances, could not pursue her passions. As a result, she missed quite a few important opportunities in the past. On her palm, there are crossing lines at the base of the thumb, which represent wealth and prosperity. In reality, this palm contains many positive signs, indicating that her later years will be fairly favorable. Her children will provide support, and she herself has a spiritual nature, always helping others, knowing contentment, and living kindly. For this reason, excessive riches are not necessary for her. Just having 3 meals a day and a life of sufficiency is happiness. In the later stage of her life, she will spend much time in spiritual cultivation, which is also a distinctive mark on this type of palm. Her fate line is quite straight, and there are also career lines. However, the career line tends to run toward the finger gaps, showing that in her youth she had a tendency toward business, but it was not favorable, prone to financial losses, even bankruptcy. Her life also encountered many losses and major economic obstacles, making it difficult for her to pursue her goals to the end. Overall, this palm has gone through many ups and downs, but still shows the ability to overcome them. In matters of love, she also faced no small amount of challenges. Her palm shows that in her younger years, she may have experienced long-distance relationships, separation from her spouse, or even signs of living apart. However, at her current stage, she has entered a period of reaping results with a kind-hearted mindset, so her destiny will become more favorable. When combining both palms, the presence of many signs is clear, such as the Prajna boat and the triangle of blessings, indicators of luck. In addition, the Mount of Venus on her hand shows square and field shapes, suggesting the ability to accumulate long-term assets. This palm strongly leans toward matters of land and property, with the potential to leave behind significant wealth for her descendants. However, her marriage prospects are less favorable. Her marriage line shows downward bends and breaks at some points. This indicates that in her youth, particularly between the ages of 25 and 30, her love life faced many difficulties and was not smooth. This palm has many fate lines rising from below, some even running parallel to each other. This shows that around the ages of 30 to 35, she had the tendency to change her career path or branch out, while also working in multiple fields at the same time. This is a good sign because parallel fate lines usually indicate many opportunities. However, her career line also has a branch going outward, reflecting financial losses, instability, and even potential failure or bankruptcy in her youth. Nevertheless, these hardships have already been overcome. Now, the most important thing for her is to focus more on her health. In addition, her spiritual cultivation path remains wide open. If she devotes more time to practice and sees it as her life mission, everything will become even better. Basically, this palm shows that she does not lack wealth. However, in terms of love and emotions, she is somewhat lonely deep inside. Regarding children, this hand shows a tendency for good development, but it is not necessarily limited to biological children. There may not be many children because the Mercury mount is slightly uneven and your little finger is short and straight, a sign indicating two possibilities. First, you may have the tendency to pursue spiritual practice early on without placing much emphasis on marriage, family, or children. Second, if you do have children, the number will not be many. However, the next generation will support you greatly. This generation may be your children, grandchildren, or those whom you have taught, guided, or imparted spiritual values to. They will develop well and come back to help you. Thus, support does not come only from children, but also from students or people influenced by you. It should be noted that from the hand, it is very difficult to determine exactly the number of sons or daughters. What can be seen is that in later life, you may be somewhat solitary due to the inclination toward a spiritual path. However, within yourself, you always feel content and regard it as your own mission, so you do not feel sorrowful. This is precisely your way of choosing life. The above is the complete analysis of your palm, wishing you much success and fulfillment in life. Thank you very much.